You ever have one of those days where you wake up thinking everything will be normal, only for life to hit you like a hammer? That's exactly what happened to me. One moment I was sipping coffee, ready for a quiet day, and the next moment chaos came crashing right into my front yard. And if you enjoy crazy neighborhood stories like this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around because trust me, you won't believe how this ended. It all started with a sound so loud and sharp it shook the ground beneath my feet. A bang so sudden it made my heart skip. I rushed outside and what I saw made me freeze in disbelief. My fence, the wooden fence that had stood strong for over 15 years, was shattered into pieces, splintered across the gravel, like someone had taken a wrecking ball to it. And right in the middle of the wreck sat a dented silver car, its bumper lodged deep into what used to be my fence post. The driver's door creaked open, and out stumbled none other than Karen's teenage son, Brad. Now everyone in the neighborhood knew Karen. She was infamous for her entitlement, always complaining, always acting like the world owed her something. And Brad? Let's just say the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Are you kidding me? I shouted, staring at the wreckage and the skid marks ripping through my lawn. Brad brushed his messy hair back and looked more annoyed than guilty. Hey, relax, man. It's not that bad. Not that bad. My fence was destroyed, my yard torn up, and this kid acted like it was nothing. Before I could say another word, I heard a shrill voice cut through the air like a knife. Karen herself came storming over, arms crossed, face red, and ready for battle. What did you do to my son? She barked, glaring at me as though I had been the one to drive into my own fence. I blinked in disbelief. Excuse me? He destroyed my property. But Karen wasn't interested in facts or logic. Your fence was too close to the road. If you hadn't built it there, my son wouldn't have crashed. This is your fault. I almost laughed out loud. My fence had been standing in that exact spot for 15 years, well within my property lines. It was perfectly legal and perfectly fine. But before I could argue, Karen whipped out her phone and called the cops, insisting they come immediately. Good, I muttered. Let's see what they have to say. As we waited, Brad leaned against his crumpled car, glued to his phone like nothing had happened, while Karen paced the yard rehearsing her complaints. And me? I just stared at the wreckage, wondering how far this circus would go. When the flashing lights finally pulled up, Karen sprinted toward the officers like she'd been waiting all her life for backup. Officers, thank God you're here, she wailed, clutching Brad's arm dramatically. This man is responsible for this accident. His fence is practically a trap. It was built too close to the road, and my son nearly died because of it. I almost choked. A trap? My fence had been sitting there peacefully for over a decade without causing a single issue. The officers exchanged glances, clearly unimpressed by her theatrics. One officer, Daniels, pointed to the long skid marks across my lawn. Ma'am, it looks like your son lost control before he hit the fence. Can you explain what happened? Brad finally looked up from his phone and said lazily, I was just driving, and this guy's fence came out of nowhere. Like, who even builds a fence there? Karen nodded furiously. Exactly. And he should pay for the damages to my son's car. I laughed right in her face. Let me get this straight. Your son destroys my fence, and I'm supposed to pay for his car? The officer stepped in, trying to calm things down. Daniels held up a hand. Ma'am, property lines are clear. This fence is well within his yard. There's no law against it being here. Karen's jaw dropped. So what, you're taking his side? Her voice was rising so high it drew neighbors out onto their porches. Phones started recording, whispers spread, and soon the whole street was watching. The second officer, Ramirez, pulled out a notepad. Your son's car is undrivable. We'll need to tow it. And we'll also need your insurance information for the property damage. Karen snapped her head toward him. Tow it? No, you can't tow his car. He needs it, Ramirez was firm. It's a hazard, ma'am. It's not going anywhere but the impound lot. Brad's face went pale for the first time all day. Wait, what? He muttered, his phone slipping from his hand. Karen screamed in outrage. You can't tow his car. He's a good kid. He just made a little mistake. If anyone's at fault, it's him. She pointed at me again like she was trying to burn a hole through my chest. But Daniels didn't budge. Ma'am, your son drove through this man's fence. That makes him liable, not the homeowner. His car is a hazard. It has to be removed. Brad panicked. Mom, do something. They can't take my car. Karen tried one last desperate play. This man purposely put his fence here to cause accidents. I've told the HOA 4 years it was dangerous. Check the records. The neighbors erupted. Old Mrs. Jensen from across the street shouted, "That fence has been there longer than your sons had a license." Others laughed, some even clapping. For once, the entire neighborhood was on my side. Ramirez had clearly had enough. "Ma'am, unless you want to be cited for obstruction, step aside and let the tow truck do its job." Karen gasped like he'd just threatened her life. "Obstruction? I'm the victim here." But it was too late. The flashing yellow lights of the tow truck were already turning onto the street. Brad ran to the car, gripping the hood like his bare hands could stop it from being hauled away. "No, you can't. This is my car." The tow driver stepped out, unimpressed. "Kid, you either move or I move you." "Car's coming with me." The crowd chuckled. Karen shrieked, pacing in frantic circles, screaming at me, "You'll regret this. This isn't over." I just shook my head. "Karen, your son destroyed my fence. I'm not the one in trouble here." The crunch of the chains locking onto Brad's car sounded like music. When the flatbed lifted his beloved car off the ground, the look on his face was priceless. Gone was his smirk, replaced by wide-eyed disbelief. Karen, meanwhile, still wasn't ready to surrender. She shouted at the officers, "You should be arresting him. He set us up. I'll sue him. I'll sue the city. I'll sue everyone." The tow driver chuckled. "Lady, you can't sue gravity. Your kid just doesn't know how to drive." The crowd roared with laughter, phones held high, capturing every second of her humiliation. For years, Karen had bullied neighbors, made everyone's life miserable, and acted like rules never applied to her. But here she was, exposed in front of everyone, loud, entitled, and powerless against reality. Officer Ramirez handed me a slip of paper. "File this with your insurance company. You'll get reimbursed for the fence. Their policy will cover it." I nodded. "Thank you, officers." Karen stood trembling, caught between rage and defeat, while Brad sulked as his car disappeared down the street on the back of the tow truck. The sound of it leaving felt like victory. Daniels gave me a nod before heading back to his cruiser. "Don't worry, you did nothing wrong. If she tries anything else, call us." When the street finally grew quiet and the neighbors went back inside, I looked at the broken wood scattered across my yard. It would take time to repair, but the memory of Karen's meltdown and the sight of that car being hauled away was worth every single splinter. So, what do you think? Was Karen out of line, or did justice finally win? Tell me in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more unbelievable neighborhood stories.